Hello, everyone. I'm Phillip Carter. It's great to see everybody. Thank you for joining me on this broadcast here. This broadcast is an attempt to try and help independent artists. Of course, I am one of the co-hosts of the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference. We are in our 11th year. We are getting ready to embark upon another conference year as we are heading towards and are in a unique situation in the music industry. The music industry actually started changing before the pandemic began, but it puts our conference in a unique situation from last year to this year to be able to help spearhead the effort forward for independent artists and for artists that are not independent. For those of y'all who just want to learn where things are going, it helps. We have been thrusted into a position where we can bring people together in a trusted setting to help people to really, really learn what to do and what not to do. So before we get started, we want to encourage all of you all to consider registering for the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference. It is a 2.5-day boot camp for independent artists where you will come together to learn the business of music and how to gel your business with your ministry. And of course, what we're going to talk about today is some problems and solutions for independent artists that can really, really help you gain some traction in the future. And normally we would offer this at the conference. You would have to pay for this, but some of this you're going to get today for free in an attempt to try to help you move forward, and also in an attempt to really, really encourage you to join and be a part of the IGAA conference. We are the only conference of its kind for independent Christian and gospel artists across the country. There's no other conference like the IGAA conference. Well, let's get in today. Welcome to today's lunch break. My name is Phillip Carter, again, co-host of the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference, and we're going to get into today some reasons why independent artists struggle so much, and maybe offer some solutions as to what you can do moving forward. And if you're watching this broadcast later, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this broadcast now, please feel free to share and let others know that we're on. Tag somebody, tag an independent artist, tag somebody that you know could really use this information and help them with their career by encouraging them to tune in. So let's get into number one. All of my points that I'm going to make today relate to each other. This is going to be done kind of quickly. Number one, the number one reason why an independent artist struggles is because they're not sure about their specific assignment in the kingdom. Not sure about a specific assignment in the kingdom. When an artist says, I just want to minister, I just want to sing to God's people, I just want to do this. Okay, that's great, but what's your assignment? You know what I mean? That's the big bubble. Well, what is your assignment? What are you supposed to be doing? And who are you supposed to be doing it with and for? And I believe if you know your assignment, then there's a couple of things that will happen for you. One is that God's favor will rest upon that assignment because he gave it to you. 2, doors will be open. 3, everything will flow from the fact that you know your assignment. And you will pursue the things that you need to pursue to make sure that you fulfill your assignment when you know your assignment. The number one reason why independent artists struggle is because they do not know their assignment. And so what do? We kind of wander around and do specific things. We do an album here. We travel to a conference here. We go to a award show here. We do various things. We do virtual videos, concerts, events, and we do these things which are all necessary and wonderful to do. But if it's not in the realm of your assignment, then it's not going to prosper. You're going to find yourself running into either a dead end or a situation that's in a downward slope because you don't know your assignment. So the number one reason why independent artists struggle is they don't know their specific assignment. To say that I'm supposed to be ministering to God's people is not a specific assignment. How you're supposed to be ministering to God's people and what you're supposed to be doing is a specific assignment. So, for instance, just because if you are a singer, you play an instrument, you do really well, you bless a lot of people, does not mean that you're supposed to sing to the world. Maybe your specific assignment is to a church. Maybe your specific assignment is to a community. Maybe your assignment is to go to all the prisons across your area and across the country to minister. Where you want to be is in God's favor. You want to be in his wheelhouse for your life. Okay? So number one is that, not sure specific assignment in the kingdom. Which leads to number two. Because you don't know your specific assignment in the kingdom, you don't really believe in yourself. Now you say, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Oh, well, I can prove it to you. Are you putting as much investment in your career, in your artistry, as you are in your car and in your house and in other things that you hold dear and valuable? If you can say yes to that, then I would say that you do believe in yourself, because you are where your money is. And if you are just using your leftovers to fund your career, then you don't really believe in yourself. This is a hobby for you. This is not a ministry assignment. When it comes to a ministry assignment, finances shift to fund that ministry assignment, because you realize that if God is in this, then I need to be in this. I don't need to treat it like it's a sideshow. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and therefore I need to shift around my financial structure, my budgets, my business, everything to now dive into this specific assignment. And because I believe in myself, because I know what this I'm supposed to be doing, now I believe in myself that I can do it. That's where I can do all things through Christ comes in. I can do all things through Christ within my specific assignment. There are no limitations within my specific assignment. And now, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I have confidence that the Lord called me to do it. Now I can go and do it and make it happen. This is what you really want to do. These two things go together. Not sure about assignment, and because you're not sure about your assignment, you don't really believe in yourself. I remember when I had a hit song called I Love the Lord. I remember when I heard that song, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I had something special. I didn't know how long, didn't know how far I was going to go, didn't know how far it was going to take me. But I knew that if I put my attention and my investment in this song and in the album that the song was in, I knew. Now, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling you I guessed. I'm not telling you I predicted. I'm telling you what I know. I knew that I had something special. I knew that if I put my all into it, that it would become something well beyond my expectation. Why? Because God was in it. You get that feeling that God is in something. You have to go all in. So that leads to number three. Because if you believe in yourself, then you won't suffer from lack of knowledge. Artists, major problem right now, and has always been, even with major artists who get taken advantage of, or major artists who do well, who are not collecting all their money. Their problem has always been, independent artists especially, lack of knowledge, not willing to study in depth. Now, lack of knowledge does not mean you watch a Facebook Live, whatever, and somebody gives you nuggets. That's knowledge, yes, but that's not study in depth. I'm talking about once I give you the nuggets. If I tell you tomorrow that there is, a great opportunity over here, and then I tell you what the opportunity is, and then I tell you there's an opportunity, it's your job to go and research that opportunity, study that opportunity to find out what it is you need to do to take advantage of that opportunity. And that's what artists lack. Independent artists really struggle with that, because all we see is our music. We see lights, camera, action. We see the potential of being played on the radio. We see the potential of winning awards. We see the potential of appearing on somebody's show. We see the potential of becoming an internet superstar. We see all these potentials, but we don't want to really dig in to find out what it is we're supposed to do. So I found out a while back, maybe about a couple of years ago, that I'm not really in the music business anymore. I do music, but I'm not in the music business anymore. I'm really in the marketing and advertising business. I spend more money, more energy, more time marketing and advertising than I do physical music. And I still produce records. I still do a lot of music. But I'm really in the marketing and advertising business. See, once you start studying in depth, you realize what it is you're missing. What most of us are missing is lack of knowledge. This is what plagues us every year. And this is why conferences like ours are a very hard sell to a lot of independent artists, because independent artists are looking for a way in and a way out instead of trying to find a way through. And a way through is through knowledge, through understanding, through meeting and greeting, through hard trials, through experiences, even being burnt sometimes, being taken advantage of. All of that is a part of the through, and that's a part of the through that many of us really, really don't want to go through, or we don't know that we don't know. Sometimes we don't know that we don't know. You know, you go online, you do something great, you get 100 shares, you get thousands of likes, and now you think that you've gotten to a certain level, but you don't understand that that was today. Tomorrow's a new day. What you going to do tomorrow? What you going to do the next day? What you going to do 6 months from now? How are you going to harness what you've done? Okay, you've done a virtual video. You've done a virtual concert. Thousands of people watched it. Thousands of shares. Okay, what are you going to do next? Because I saw your concert. Tomorrow I'm going to look at somebody else's. How are you going to harness what you've done? Lack of knowledge, no business knowledge at all. Okay, no business knowledge, no marketing, no knowledge of human behavior, people's personalities, people's buying habits, what people go to, what they don't, what age groups are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. How are people communicating? How are they buying? How are they selling? All these things you need to know if you are going to survive in 2021 and beyond. Okay? So that's a solution. That's the problem and the solution. Here's number 4. Low fan base or unable to connect with fan base. Okay? Fan base drives it all. Many of us are probably on personal pages doing major things, but personal pages don't build you fan bases. Okay? People will watch you, they'll congratulate you, they'll like your broadcast, but there's nothing else they can do on a personal page, for example. But if you have a business page, you can now build a fan base. You can build a following. You can build subgroups. You can build other events. You can do all these different things. We don't build fan bases. Fan bases give you a base to do ministry, give you a base to sell records, a base to sell merchandise. Many of us we're doing many albums, but we have nobody to show the albums to. We have nobody to sell the albums to. Thus, we go hire somebody to do radio. Always trying to build a fan base. And let's say you do hire somebody to do radio, and they do get you on top of the charts, and things start going well for you. How are you going to tap into those people who now like your music? So you can have a fan base and unable to connect with the fan base because there is no come back to you. A lot of artists don't even have a website. So you go online and you got a hit song and you have no website, nowhere for people to connect back with you. You know, a Facebook page is not enough. You need a home base, a place that you own where people can connect back with you. And then you need to build email databases. You need to build Facebook groups. You need to get people connected with you on IG and whatever YouTube, whatever you're using, whatever your platform of choice is. That's how you need to connect with people. Okay, so you have to learn. You have to build a fan base, and then once you build a fan base, you have to keep your fan base connected. This is number one problem during the pandemic. Okay, many of us, we have great ideas, great music, great ministry, been anointed by God, but we have no viable fan base. If I asked you today, can you connect with your fan base and give them an instruction and they can follow it within a day and do what you've asked them to do? Or will you just post something and hope for the best? See, if you have a fan base, you have a base of people to help to support your ministry. A fan base is about what you're doing, what God is doing through you. That is what you need. That is the problem and the solution right now for 99% of the independent artists are out right now. You have great stuff, no fan base. Releasing to Spotify and all these different places are great, but until you can tell me some particulars. This is what you would need to tell me if I asked you about your fan base. You need to tell me, what music do they listen to? What are their age groups? What's the percentage of men and women? What's the nationality of men and women who listen to you? And what about your ministry do they gravitate to the most? If you can't answer those questions, you don't really know what building a fan base is. That's why we encourage you to come to the IGA conference. That's why you need to learn what you need to learn. That's why it's important. That's how you survive. That's how you maintain a ministry over years. That's how you not get discouraged. When you put systems and things in place to help you track where you need to go, that's what really makes the difference. Okay? That's what separates a person who's been out for 10 or 20 years versus a person who releases 1 or 2 good albums. Okay? You have to learn how this is a part of longevity, building a fan base, connecting with your fan base. Here's the next one. No team, wrong people on team, poor advisement. Okay? You have to have a team to help you build. Build your team. Your team can be professionals. Your team can be people that nobody else knows. But you have to have a team. You cannot do it all alone. The problem, and I'm a personal witness, the problem with doing it all alone is that you cannot do everything well. And your mind goes in so many different places that you can't possibly accomplish all the missions that there's some things you can do. You can do a lot. But just think if you can multiply that by adding people to your team. Where do you find this team? Well, fan base can help you find a team. You can find a team by talking to people who are professionals, who can recommend people to help you. You can look at the people around you to see what their specific skills are, abilities. You know, if you got a teenager in your house that loves Facebook or loves Instagram, TikTok, and that's what they spend their time on, then you got your social media team right there already built in. Or if you got friends around you who spend all their time, they can't seem to put their phone down. Well, man, you could pay them to keep their phone in their hand on your behalf. Build you a team. And then put the right people on your team. Okay, figure out what you need. Figure out, do I need, okay, if I'm on social media not a lot, maybe I don't need a social media person. Maybe I need somebody to help me with marketing and advertising. Maybe I need somebody to help me with building a business or working with my company, helping me to design products to make to put out to people. Maybe a radio person needs to be on your team. Maybe you don't need a radio person on your team. Maybe you need somebody to help you with your look, your appearance, your music. Build you a team. And then the last thing is poor advisement. Me included, we spend a lot of time on Facebook, Instagram, all these different places. I spend 75% of my time on social media doing business or either ministering or doing the best I can to minister and inspire people. Okay. You cannot get all of the advisement that you need by watching Facebook and all these different broadcasts. There are some great and knowledgeable people in there, but you need personal help. And you need to find out who are those people and the reputations of the people that you're watching to determine whether the advisement that you are getting is correct or is something that you should take into consideration. Okay? A lot of advisement that we hear from Clubhouse and from different things like that it may be good, but it may also be old news. It may also be outdated. And so you beware of outdated advisement. Somebody telling you that you need to spend a whole bunch of time in terrestrial radio at this point is poor advisement, because terrestrial radio where it was 10 years ago and where it is now is two different things. 10 years ago, it was a bigger chunk of the pie than it is now. So while radio is still should still be a part of your plan, it is a much smaller part of your plan than it was then. That's poor advisement. You need somebody that can tell you what's happening right now so that you can make an educated decision as to what you need to do right now. Okay? So for instance, radio is probably 15% of my total of my focus right now. 50% of my focus is social media, content creation, online ministry. Another 25-30% of my focus is making sure that I connect and continue to build my fan base. And the other part, and the smallest part of that actually, is creating music. Okay? So that's my plan. That's what I do. You need to get accurate information from good advisors, people who are working now, who understand this time, this season, this paradigm shift that we are in, to give you the kind of advisement that you need so that you can make excellent choices about your career. Okay? Here's the other thing. Artists are not business persons. So whereas most of us, I'm an artist, most of us spend most of our time creating, thinking about music, writing music, thinking about who's going to sing it, how we're going to get it produced, all these different things. We're not thinking about business. Okay? And so that's a big holdup. Here's the thing. If that is you, don't worry about it. Just hire some people to help you with your business, to do the things that you don't want to do so that you can continue to concentrate on what your wheelhouse really is. Okay? For those of you all who really want to do business and you really want to learn the business, then you need to think about attending a conference like the IGAA conference, where that's what we do. Okay? We still sing and minister and shout, but we do business during the day. It's all virtual this year, July the 8th through the 10th, 2021. If that's you, that's what you need to do. You don't need to sit on the sidelines and be watching videos all day. You need to get in with people who know what's going on, who can help you, who can personally mentor you. And in addition to watching those videos, they're not bad. I watch them too. But you need personal help. You need to get in, dig in like you were going to college, like you in school, like you in class. You need to dig in and learn something. Okay? That's important. We are not business persons. Okay? Business is just something that we inherited because we decided to become independent artists. When you're signed to a label, you don't have to worry about business. But since you decide to be an independent artist, you cannot escape business. If you don't want to do business, learn how business is done so that when you hire people, you'll know whether they're doing the job that you've hired them to do. Okay, here's the next thing. Very little to no collaboration. For some reason, we think we can do it all on our own. For some reason, we think that is the way to go. But if you look at other genres of music, look at how they collaborate with each other. Look at how much they can get done. I can write 10 songs. If I pair up with somebody else, I may be able to write 20 songs in the same time frame that I wrote the 10. Okay? If me and another person comes together and decide to pool resources, let's say we pool resources together and we decide to release one album every quarter instead of 2 albums every quarter, but the one album we release every quarter has both of our funding behind it instead of just having one. So my $10,000 I plan for an album now has $20,000 behind it. And we're collectively coming together to do something that will reap us both in exposure, reap us both in fan base, reap us both in finances. We don't do collaboration well. And then the people that we do collaborate with, we tend to close our circle in instead of keeping our hand open. An open hand can both give and receive. It's important that you collaborate. Collaborate on songwriting, collaborate on production, collaborate on doing events together. Collaborate. I can't stress that enough. That is what is going on. That's what we don't do enough of. It's I all the time. I'm releasing my project. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. When you start to put a we behind it, you're going to see everything about what you're doing double, triple, quadruple. Okay? Everything just starts to get even bigger. You start to realize that you're not in this alone, and that God loves when people come together and agree to do a thing for his kingdom. All right? So that's artists. Okay, very little to no collaboration. Here's number 8, trying to make it big instead of a gradual effort. We do a lot of things trying to make a big splash, and what ends up happening is that our finances go into this big splash, and then once the splash is over, there is nothing else there's nothing else that we can do because we're out of money, we're out of resources. A gradual, consistent effort is the winner every time. I don't know an artist, major or independent, that is successful that is not consistent. You have to be consistent. Consistency means you need to think down the road. You need to think, how am I going to do this down the road? So that in your consistency, if you do have a big thing that happens, if you do catch a break, if you do get a major opportunity, it's just another link in the chain, because you're going to keep going, doing it because you have a system in place, because you have a consistent operation going. You can continue to build. Trying to make it big up front is a deception, because even if you make it big, let's say you get millions of views off of a song you sung. What are you going to do the next day? Because you don't have a system in place, because you don't have a gradual effort in place, because you don't have a team in place, because you don't have collaboration in place, because you don't do business, because you have lack of knowledge. It is all of that goes by the wayside when the next news cycle appears, when the next video appears. You have to think about a gradual effort. Moving on, because my time's about up. Lack of mentorship. I can remember when I did not have mentorship, and I can remember a time where mistakes were many. Mentorship can cure a lot of mistakes. Get under somebody's mentor. Like people tell you in church, get under a pastor, get under a leader, okay? Get under somebody's mentorship. Let them walk you through. Submit yourself to somebody. Be open to somebody telling you no. Be open to somebody tell you that you need to change something. Be open to mentorship. Be open to somebody who is doing it on another level than you are doing it. And that will help to change everything in your career. Lack of mentorship is a big thing. Okay, here's the last thing. You attend events to learn and not conferences. So whereas there are some great events out here, there's some great one-day seminars, there are some great online events. Events are not conferences. Conferences are designed for you to sit your behind down in a chair or on a computer screen or in person, and for you to get your pen and piece of paper out, or your iPad or your phone, and you to get in and start really learning. Okay? Going to a showcase, an indie showcase, is not an event. Okay? It's not a conference. Watching a virtual event is not a conference. You need to seriously think about, what it is do I really want to do? What do I really want to be? What has God called me to be in this season? And then all of these points that I raised in this session here is all going to make sense to you. Okay? You need to really think about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and why you are doing it. And I promise you, you'll see success. You'll see favor. You'll see all these things that you see happening in somebody else's life. The biggest thing about an independent artist, because I know myself, I know some of my friends who are artists, I know how we think. We are the most hard-headed people on earth. We think we know it. And then when we learn something, we think that's all there is to know. We are very, very hard-headed. If you can manage to press through your hard-headedness and get in the will of God and start opening up your mind to these different possibilities, then you will see a change. And once again, I want you to consider coming to the IGAA conference. It is the only conference that teaches Christian and gospel artists the business of music from a ministry perspective. We are 11 years in. That means we're not new. That means we have a track record. That means we have people who have come to our conference and have succeeded. I got a call from an artist the other day that said, I got a huge royalty check. And he called me just to say, thank you to the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference. You won't know until you jump in and do it. There is a door ahead of you. I'm going to leave you with this. There's a door ahead of you, and you can't predict what's on the other side of that door until you open it. And there's a lot of fear on this side of the door because you don't know what the risk is by opening that door. But when you open that door, if God has called you to something and you open that door, you best believe that God's going to provide. 2, you best believe that what's on the other side of that door is way far better than what's on the other side. Okay? And what's on this side is fear and unpredictability. And what's on this side is also not reaching your goal. What's on this side is not dying empty. On the other side is going all the way with Jesus, going into God's supernatural provision, going into all knowledge, being open to collaborations, starting businesses, going in directions you've never thought you'd go in, meeting people you never thought you'd meet. I want to encourage you today, independent artists, register now for the IGAA conference. Get in the way so that you can be all that God has called you to be. God has called you to be. Wouldn't it be a shame? Wouldn't it be a shame for you to die with all this ability and talent? For you to die with all this ability and talent and not have done all that you were supposed to do in this life. Wouldn't it be a shame? You get to the pearly gates and God starts calling the roll and he says, Philip, you were a good artist, but you could have been a great artist if you had just done this and done that. If you had just heeded my call. So I want to encourage you today to register now for the IGAA conference. And I hope this has really blessed you. I hope this fuels your fire. I hope this encourages you to do better and to be your best in Jesus' name. Everybody take care. Have a great day.